This early morning, let's answer a question from social media. This is Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. Welcome to Meditate Like a Jedi. This is the Lama you are looking for. This morning, we could chant and meditate and enjoy a lesson or two, but first, if you love Star Wars and you wish to meditate as transformatively as Princess Leia on Ajahn Kloss under the guidance of Luke Skywalker, be sure to subscribe and ring that notification bell. If at any point during this morning's live stream you have a question about meditation, Buddhist or Taoist meditation or philosophy or chanting, there is no need to be bashful. Simply type your question in great detail in the chat window on the right-hand side of the screen. The day I'm sitting on the couch instead of on the floor with my legs crossed because my back went out earlier this week, and I'm just barely managing with the pain. So let's get it on. Let's turn to page 5, button 5, go straight to today's question. Remember, when you have a question, just type it in the chat window. So I play baby game asked, wanting to learn to meditate. I broke up with a girl about a month ago who barely cared about me and just looked at me as a second best. That's a bummer. She recently texted me asking to be friends, and now anger is just building up. I need to calm down, and for what I have read, to do meditation seems like it would help. But when I do try to meditate, my mind tends to wander around, and I never can concentrate. The best thing I did was have good breathing in and out, but I kept my mind blank because I wasn't sure I was supposed to think about. Is there any better way to practice and learn? And the answer is yes. Yes, there is, and you've reached it. On this channel, there are thousands of videos, and health permitting, I broadcast 4 meditation classes. I've live streamed 4 meditation classes daily without any ads. So you've come to the right place. Come to a live stream. When you have questions, simply ask them. Type them as best you can in the chat window. Now let's get down to brass tacks. Okay, here we go. When I try to meditate, my mind tends to wander around and I can never concentrate. So that is not your fault. But someone accidentally or deliberately led you astray, because meditation is not concentration. And to make more sense of that, I'd like to show you a list of attributes. So when we read the 81 chapters of the Tao Te Ching, we learn about yang and we learn about yin. And one of the things that's very surprising is that when you listen to a bunch of Westerners talk about the Tao Te Ching, they often talk about making peace between the 2 extremes of yang and yin. However, when you actually read a good translation of the exact same book, you see the author's intent was opposite. He taught time and again to be, although we are to be aware of yang, we are to always choose yin. This is crucial. When you look at the characters, the people to whom we attribute great philosophies and meditation, like Lao Tzu or Gautama the Buddha or Jesus the Christ, they all demonstrated personal attributes of being flexible, being loving, being laid back, being egalitarian, being cooperative, and being kind. And we're always, whenever we look at their life stories, we see the people who were opposed to them being rigid and fearful and controlling and elitist and competitive and cruel. Now here's the great irony. Concentration is an act of being controlling. I'm going to look at this, I'm not going to look at anything else. And we practice that type of controlling by being rigid, which is completely the opposite of being laid back and being flexible. So here in this morning's class, we will at times relax into universal love. But we shall do so with the awareness that our mind is going to wander. That is what it is evolved to do. If you go back 300,000 years, when our ancestors were just crawling out of the trees, there were predators everywhere. And if our ancestors were concentrating, they wouldn't have the perceptual acuity to perceive a predator, no less hide from them or run from them. So we are wired to have minds that perceive sights, sense, sounds, sensations, and flavors, as well as perceive emotions, intentions, thoughts, memories, and imaginings. We evolved to perceive them vulnerably, passively, viscerally, and randomly. So when our mind wanders, that's good. That's what it evolved to do. When we get to, I'm going to jump ahead real quick to page 9. Let's see. So let's take, for example, this exercise right here. From the heart, wish all boon. Boon is just a monosyllabic word, synonym for good fortune. From the heart, wish all boon. On the in-breath, we'll mentally recite from the heart. On the out-breath, we will mentally recite wish all boon. So as we were playing with this in harmony with our inhalations and our exhalations and our relaxations, we will notice additional stuff. Sometimes the additional stuff will be in the background, and this will be in the foreground. Other times, the additional stuff will be in the foreground, and this will be in the background. That's fine. Our mind basically has two modes. A mode like a kitty cat taking a nap in a patch on the carpet in a patch of sunlight, or a mode when our kitty cat has the zoomies. When we have the zoomies, then we play with these 4 exercises. And these 4 exercises are great for subtle things and for coarse, energetic things, like rage, like terror, like despair. And their little siblings, annoyance, anxiety, and sadness. So whatever you're going through, we can manage them by playing with these 4 exercises. So 3 of these exercises are rhetorical questions. As we breathe in, we could silently and mentally recite, how could this? And as we breathe out, we could silently and mentally recite, feel stressful. So when you are feeling anger for whatever person or whatever reason, this will help us to exercise greater vulnerability. The second exercise, we harness the vulnerability so that it can serve feed our compassion. All beings stress, may I soothe. And after about 4 or so rounds of that exercise, we would come to our second rhetorical question. How could rage never last? We don't have to believe it. We just play with the words. Because we evolve to guide our intention with words. How could this not be me? Again, just a question we play with, not to answer, but to get more and more comfortable with letting go. So let's return now to page, oopsie, sorry about that, Chief. Let's go over here and return to 5. Okay, so now you know that there is a way to learn meditation for free online while interfacing interactively with a teacher. You've learned that the concentration is a dead end, and it's better to practice the mindfulness that is vulnerable, passive, visceral, and random. And you've learned that you don't have to mind blank because that's an act of concentration. You can let the mind do what it do and dance with it, like Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers. So at this point, I look forward to starting this morning's formal meditation and chanting practice. However, I'm going to insert 1 minute of housekeeping. Checking for questions, don't see any. Okay, so I'm going to tap button 6. And this is a bit of a repeat. Start this morning's formal practice. Oops, wrong button. Excellent. We're going to begin by training our neural pathways responsible for both empathy, come on machine, and enthusiasm, simply by chanting 2 recitations, one of bodhicitta and one of refuge. May I liberate all beings from the tyranny of eating, craving, and clinging by relying on the Buddha's example, instructions, and students. May I liberate all beings from the tyranny of hating, craving, and clinging by relying on the Buddha's example, instructions, and students. May I liberate all beings from the tyranny of hating, craving, and clinging by relying on the Buddha's example, instructions, and students. We're going to skip this morning's chant and go straight to the practice. So, as I mentioned during the opening lesson, the Buddha taught 2 categories of meditation: resting meditation and active meditation. This resting meditation we could call if we wanted to be fancy, we could call it metta samatha, or simply relaxing into love. We're going to begin by relaxing into circumstantial love. There is a passage. Let's see. Let me do a quick edit, folks. The Buddha gave a discourse. He gave several discourses on loving kindness. In one of those discourses, he said, first wish well to 1/4 of living beings, and then 1/2, and then 3/4, and then all. So we're going to do that right now. And for the sake of conservation of syllables, we're going to use the word some. So from the heart, wish some boon. And we're using the word boon as a monosyllabic synonym for good fortune. So let's play with this right now. As we inhale, we'll silently and mentally recite from the heart. As we exhale, we will silently and mentally recite wish some boon. Now, our job is not to visualize. It's not to force ourselves to actively visualize. Our job is not to force ourselves to feel something. If all we do is silently and mentally play with these words in harmony with our inhalation and our exhalation and our relaxation, we will make progress on the path. From the heart, wish half boon. From the heart, wish most boon. And finally, most importantly, from the heart, wish all boon. when you get a chance, would you hand me that water? Thank you. Thank you very much. And now we switch gears and instead relax into physical love, which could be described as kaya metta. The only real difference is we're replacing the word boon with the word health. So one of the neat things is that if we are in pain, if we have an infection of something, if we are unwell, we can take all our greed for health and convert it into universal love, which is what we're doing with these words right now. And now we switch gears and begin instead to relax into interpersonal love, which could be described in Pali as Vedana Metta. And so what we're wishing is that all beings experience great love for everybody else, real, imagined, or recalled, and that all beings receive great love, professionally, personally, platonically, and intimately. We switch gears yet again. And now relax into mental love, which could be described as Sita Metta. So during our in-breath, we will silently and mentally recite from the heart. During the out-breath, we will silently and mentally recite, wish all wise. So wise here, when we say the word wise, we mean the wisdom of being flexible, loving, laid back, egalitarian, cooperative, and kind. All right, so now we're going to wish. So now, from the heart, wish all peace. And for our final set of love meditations, from the heart, wish all joy. And now we're going to switch gears from mentally relaxing into universal love to active analysis. We're going to explore the 4 bases of mindfulness, Satipatthana, through the lens of the 3 marks of reality, Tilakkhana. So I mention these terms not because they're important, just to let you know that I'm not making stuff up. We're going to begin with mind, bringing the mental into the path of letting go. So we're not learning doctrine just to memorize metaphysics, but we're conditioning our mind and body to let go. How mind hate feels stressful. This exercise, or actually this set of exercises, is useful for training in vulnerability. How mind crave feels stressful. If hating is a pushing energy, then craving is a pulling energy. We now explore the word vie, which we're using as a monosyllabic synonym of competition. And what's the difference, you might ask, between craving and clinging? Well, craving reaches for what it does not have. Clinging holds on to tightly what it does have for fear of losing it. And now we take a break from rhetorical questions and just play with a compassionate intention. Now that we have done a very good job of defining mind's stress, let us wish that all beings experience a mind's stress we now soothe. It's a big wish, it's a tall order, but we're going to play with this anyway. So we are exploring mind, or sita, through the lens of compassion, or karuna, that we might grow in bodhicitta, or the mindset of enlightenment. We return now to rhetorical questions and ask, how could minds always change? Remember, rhetorical questions we do not strive to answer. The power lies not in the answering of a rhetorical question, but in the asking, especially when we combine the asking of the rhetorical question with our inhalation and our exhalation and our relaxation. So we're actively exploring the mental or sita through the lens of impermanence or anicca, that we might grow more comfortable with letting go. We're going to actively explore the mental or sita through the lens of selflessness or anatta, that we might make a habit of letting go. We're going to shift gears from the mental to the interpersonal. So we're going to use the exact same exercises, but we're applying them now to the interpersonal. So we actively explore the interpersonal or Vedana through the lens of stress or dukkha, that we might train in vulnerability. So, quick tip, a synonym for our experience of the interpersonal would be the ties that bind. And so we're using tie as a monosyllabic synonym for the ties that bind. Let's actively explore the interpersonal or Vedana through the lens of compassion or karuna, that we might grow in enlightenment's mindset. Or bodhicitta. Again, we're actively exploring the interpersonal Vedana, this time through the lens of impermanence or anicca, that we might grow more comfortable with letting go. Let us actively explore the interpersonal Vedana through the lens of selflessness or anatta, that we might make a habit of letting go. We're switching gears now from the interpersonal to the physical. Let us actively explore the physical or kaya through the lens of stress or dukkha, that we may better train in vulnerability. Now let us actively explore the physical kaya through the lens of compassion or karuna, that we may grow in enlightenment's mindset or bodhicitta. And now we are continuing our active exploration of the physical or kaya. This time or now through the lens of impermanence or anicca, that we might grow more comfortable with letting go. We continue exploring the physical or kaya, now through the lens of selflessness or anatta, that we might make a habit of letting go. We come to our fourth and final base of mindfulness, the circumstantial or Dhamma. So as predictable, we're going to begin our exploration of the circumstantial Dhamma through the lens of stress or dukkha, that we may train in vulnerability. We are further exploring the circumstantial or Dhamma, this time through the lens of compassion or karuna. We might grow in So let us train in compassion. Let us continue our active exploration of the circumstantial or Dhamma, this time through the lens of impermanence or anicca, that we might grow more comfortable with letting go. And remember, if at any point you have a question about Buddhist meditation or philosophy, simply write that question in great detail in the chat window. Remember, these are rhetorical questions. Their power comes not from answering them, but from asking them, silently and mentally, in harmony with our inhalation and our exhalation and our relaxation. Now we come to this morning's final contemplation, where we continue or we conclude our exploration of the circumstantial or Dhamma through the lens of selflessness or anatta, that we might make a habit of letting go. So we close our practice with 4 chants, beginning with universal liberation. May I, like the Buddha, master the Eightfold Path as well as liberate others. Let us contemplate the ethics of let us explore the ethics of kindness. May all beings practice of kind communication, conduct, and calmness flow spontaneous and uncontrived. The essence of morality is simply kindness. We now explore rebirth. May each being take auspicious rebirth, master the Buddha's path, and then help all others do likewise. And now we conclude with my favorite, the 4 immeasurables, which combine both love and wisdom. May everyone be free from stress, may everyone be happy. May no one be separated from the happiness. May everyone have balance from the tyranny of hating, craving, and clinging free. If you feel that I have earned it, please type something in the chat window. Give this live stream a thumbs up and share it on social media. I would very much like to return to lead another meditation session in 2 hours, but that might not be the case. I'm sorry, an hour and a half. So at the very least, I look forward to returning tomorrow morning to lead an early morning meditation class. May you and yours be happy and healthy. And if you are as geeky as me, this is the way.